Hello, thanks for coming. This is a beginner's guide to Medicare in Wisconsin, and we're going to run through the basics of Medicare, what your options are, because I realize this can feel really overwhelming with all of the information out there, all the options. So the next 30 minutes is going to make this a whole lot easier for you. First thing I want to do though is kind of show some evidence of why I'm qualified to help you. Here's a copy of my insurance license, my name, national producer number, Michael Lovell. But you can see the red arrow there. I have been licensed since 2009, working in the Medicare space a long time now at this point. So what we're going to cover here today over the next roughly half an hour, some things about Medicare, like do you actually need to enroll? How to do that if you do need to, what the basic parts of Medicare are, which ones do you actually need, what does it cost, what does it cover. And it really boils down to two main options, Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement. Uh, Lots of questions around prescription drug coverage, how that works, regardless of which main option you take. And how do I fit in? What do I actually do to help other than just kind of going through this initial process here? So starting off, do I need to enroll in Medicare? And this is kind of depending on your situation. If you're receiving benefits from Social Security or Railroad Retirement already, then you're going to be automatically enrolled into the basic Medicare, which is Parts A and B. You'll get your card about 3 months prior. I know you're probably getting a lot of mail already. Most of it you don't need to do anything with. There is going to be your card though if you are receiving your benefits from Health and Human Services. And so look out for that about 3.5 months before your birthday month. Rest of it you can pretty much disregard. Uh, if Medicare, assuming it's going to be your primary insurance when you turn 65, you're not receiving your Social Security benefits yet, then you should enroll in Medicare, which I'll talk about in a moment. But if you're still working, or maybe your spouse is still working, you have coverage elsewhere, it really depends on your unique situation as far as what steps you should take. So we should probably talk one-on-one about that, whether it's your current insurance, VA benefits, TRICARE for life, something else. So how do you enroll in Medicare? First thing, enrolling in Medicare is not the same as selecting your Medicare plan, so it's not like this is the one step and done, but this is getting your basic A and B coverage set up. So how can you do that? Well, a couple different ways. You can call Social Security. You can do it online at Social Security's website, or depending on how things are with COVID, possibly attending in person in your local Social Security office. As far as timing of when you can do this, it's roughly 3 months before you turn 65, so the 3 months prior to your birthday month, and then your coverage will start for most people on the first of the month of their 65th birthday. So what are the four parts of Medicare? Well, Part A is your hospital coverage. Part B is your medical insurance. That makes up original Medicare. So after that, it's kind of what else are you going to do to help fill in the gaps, whether that's Part D, which is the prescription drug program, or some people will go with Medicare Advantage, which is known as Part C, which kind of combines all of your benefits from one and sometimes will include your prescription drug coverage. So how do these actually work? Well, let's start with original Medicare, which is that red, white, and blue card, your A and B coverage. Like I said, A is your hospital coverage. B is your doctor and medical coverage. It's nice. You can see any doctor, any hospital here in Wisconsin or nationwide as long as they accept Medicare. No networks, no referrals, you just go. But it doesn't cover everything 100%. There's some pretty decent gaps here that leave you exposed, so most people need to do something. So what are your costs on this? Most people are going to pay a monthly premium of $148.50. This does vary by income, so if your income is significantly higher than average, then it could be higher, and I'll look at that chart here in a moment with you. But when you actually go to use the coverage, like I said, it doesn't cover everything. There's some expenses that you're responsible for. One of the first ones is the hospital deductible. So the way this works is if you're admitted to the hospital, you would pay $1,484 before Medicare pays anything. And it's kind of a unique deductible in that usually it's good for a whole year, something like that. But this one's only good for 60 days. So if you were to go in today, pay that roughly $1,500, then you come back out and you go back in 3 months later, you got to pay that all over again. So it's kind of unique that way. The Part B has a deductible, but this is much smaller in a once per year deductible of $203. After that, Medicare covers 80% and you would cover 20%. What's unique about this is that there's no limit to that 20%. So however big that bill is, you've got 20% of it, which is different than most insurance. Like I mentioned, depending on your income, if your income is higher, and they look back 2 years ago, so whatever your income was in 2019, even though you might have retired and that income has changed, that's what they automatically use unless we ask them to do something different and look at a current year income. So if your income has changed from then and you'd like some help working through that, I can walk you through this process to have them use your current year's income instead of what you were making when you were working full time. So this is where when I'm talking to people, it feels like there's 100 different options out there, so much information, but it's really just two. All of your coverage options are either a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare Supplement plan. So they both have their pros and cons, but it's kind of what do you prefer for your coverage? So what I want to do today is point out the pros and cons and let you kind of pick out a route that makes the most sense to you. Now, the first thing I tell people about Medicare Advantage is it's not a supplement because it doesn't work with your basic Medicare that we just talked about, that A and B coverage. It works instead of that, which is really unique. You still have a bill for everything you do. So instead of paying that hospital deductible, that roughly $1,500, on an Advantage plan, you wouldn't pay that because instead you'd pay usually a daily copay. It varies by plan, but on average, you're looking at roughly $300 a day, each day for about a week. So if you're admitted for 2 days, it's 300 times 2, it's $600. That's a win. But if you're admitted for a full week, now you're 300 times 7, you're over $2,000, and now you spent more. So it doesn't work with, it works instead. You see these advertised as the $0 all-in-one Medicare plan, and that's one thing that you're still paying for your base Medicare, but Medicare pays the insurance companies money on your behalf to basically provide all of your Medicare benefits. So some of them will not charge you anything extra, and that's why they can say a $0 plan. In exchange for that, you're agreeing to use a network. So you're restricting yourself to stay inside of that network, whichever plan, whichever doctors and hospitals that plan has agreed to use. You're going to stay within there. If you go outside of there, that network, and it's not an emergency, you might not have any coverage. So you might be paying that full cost all on your own. These work more like traditional health insurance, as the network based, but it's also more of that pay as you go. So it's the lower premium, but when you go see a doctor, you have a copay. If you see a specialist, you probably have a higher copay. And it is something where really, if it's something major, you might have a percentage of that bill that you're responsible for. And those costs are tracked throughout the year where they have a maximum out of pocket. So it's your worst case scenario. For this year, it could be up to as high as $7,550 as your worst case scenario before the insurance company takes over, covers 100%. Some plans are lower than that, but it just kind of depends on which county you live in, what your options are. But that's the highest that they would be in network. Out of network, there's actually no limit to how high your cost could be. And like I said, that are the all-in-one Medicare plan. because a lot of them include your prescription drug coverage, and some will include even dental and vision coverage as well. Now, on the flip side is going to be a Medicare supplement. And the way this works, also Medicare supplement is also referred to as Medigap. Same thing, just different words that mean the same thing. So don't let that overwhelm you because they're one and the same. And the way it works is you pay an additional premium. Typically, you're looking at about $100 to $120 per month on top of your base Medicare. What that does is it helps pay what Medicare doesn't pay. So if we're looking at that hospital deductible, that roughly $1,500, if you're admitted to the hospital and you have a Medicare supplement, it's going to pay that for you. You'll pay zero. It's also going to pay the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay for the Part B benefits. So if you were having something like, let's say, an outpatient knee replacement done, and you're first starting Medicare this year, you would have a $203 deductible that you would pay once per year. After that, Medicare would cover 80%. The supplement would cover the other 20% for the office visit, the surgery, the physical therapy afterwards. You'd be done. No more deductible, no more copays. And you have the flexibility to see any doctor, any hospital here in Wisconsin that accepts Medicare or nationwide. So it gives you a lot more flexibility to be able to go wherever you want to go. It's also pretty predictable, which a lot of people like because you pay your monthly premium. Worst case, you've got a $203 deductible, and then you're done. It is more of an a la carte style setup, though, because this does not include prescription drug coverage. That is something I help people with if they pick this route, and it's something where I would look at what medications you need covered, what pharmacies you want to use, and sort through all of the drug plans to make sure you're in the fit that's going to be the lowest cost for your current situation. Also dental, vision, hearing, optional coverage, but it's something that's not built in. Key thing to know is that when you first start Medicare, it's the one time in your life you're guaranteed to be approved for a Medicare supplement from any company that you want. If you choose an Advantage plan now when you're first starting Medicare, and 2-3 years from now you're like, I'm starting to use this plan a lot, I want to upgrade, pay the extra premium for the Medicare supplement for the extra coverage that I get, you actually have to go through a health review at that point. And it's something where the insurance company can ask you health questions and decide based on your health history that, yeah, they'll accept you. They can say, yes, we'll accept you, but we'll charge you more. Or they can say, no, we're not going to offer you coverage. So that's something to be aware of. It is something that if you wanted to, it's much easier to go from a supplement to an Advantage plan later because there's no health questions for the Advantage plan. So you're guaranteed to be approved as long as you have Medicare and live in the service area, that county where that plan is offered. That's very straightforward. So people I work with, this is now where you have the biggest question as far as what you actually have to answer for yourself. What's more appealing to you? A Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare supplement? That's the one question I can answer for you, but after you do answer it, I can make everything really easy from here. So if it is Medicare Advantage, one of the first things I want to look at is what doctors and hospitals are crucially important to you, so that way I can make sure that the plan that we're looking at for you has those doctors and hospitals in network. I'd also check and see how your prescriptions are covered, and that's kind of the next way to kind of look at all of the plans that are available, because there's usually around 25 Advantage plans available to sort through, and this just helps eliminate a lot of them. So we're only looking at ones that are going to be a good fit based on your needs. This makes it easy to compare as far as what the coverage is. That way, like I said, it's fitting your priorities and your unique situation. So to do that, just give me a call or send me an email. My contact information is on the screen, but I'm going to include that in an email, and you'll get this afterwards as well. But if it is a Medicare supplement, then I have good news where Wisconsin has tried to make it easy for you to shop and compare Medicare supplements. This is from the Wisconsin Guide to Medicare, as far as they only allow Medicare supplement insurance companies to sell standardized policies. And each standardized Medicare supplement policy must offer the same basic benefits no matter which company sells it. The big thing for you to know is that there can be big differences in the premiums that different companies charge for literally exactly the same coverage. So that's one spot where I come in too, because here's an example that is realistic out there as far as different Medicare supplement companies. They all cover the same doctors, the same hospitals, and the same bills the same way because there's no networks, and Medicare decides what's covered and how it's covered. And your doctor actually bills Medicare, Medicare bills the supplement company. It's very easy for you, but the price they charge you for that can be very, very different. So here's an example I've run for someone where the lowest price was $120 and the highest one was $211. And if you pay $211, you don't get anything more than the $120. So I'm a big believer in value. I will happily pay more if I'm getting more, but I don't think it makes any sense at all to pay more to get the exact same thing. One of the things I mentioned is that Wisconsin does Medicare supplements really unique. We do it unlike anyone else. 47 states do Medicare supplements the same way. 3 states opted out, us being one of them, and we chose to do it completely different than everyone else. So what we have is a base plan and riders. Now, if you're like most people, that sounds really terrifying because riders sound like this scary term. But really all it is you have a base plan and then you have the riders, which make your coverage in typically more comprehensive. As it gets more comprehensive, it covers more, so it gets a little bit more expensive on a monthly basis because it covers more. These are the riders that we have, and I will go through on the next page as far as what most people would choose. There's 2 main options. So the first one is going to be a more comprehensive supplement, where typically you're looking at between $100 and $120 a month for most parts of the state. And it's got most of the riders built in. It's as comprehensive as you can get it if you're just starting Medicare this year. So your responsibility would be the Medicare Part B deductible. So basically, if you're sick or injured, you've got the first $203. After that, Medicare is going to kick in and your supplement's going to kick in. Anything covered by Medicare, you're done. No more deductible, no more copays for anything hospital medical. Another option that some people like is going to be a little bit lower premium, and it works almost identical to the first option, the more comprehensive. You still have that $203 deductible that you're responsible for, but after that, there's 2 differences, and this is what gets you the lower premium. So after that deductible, if you're willing to pay a copay for every office visit of up to $20, and up to $50 for every emergency room visit, you can typically drop that premium by about $35 a month. So about $35 a month times 12, you're looking at about $400 a year in exchange for those office visits. Some people like that a lot because even if you go 5 times, it's 5 office visits at $20 a piece is $100 in copays compared to the $400 in savings each year. So it's something to consider. It can be a great fit depending on what your priorities are. Now that brings us to the Part D, which is the prescription drug coverage. This is something that is sold by insurance companies. So they are approved by Medicare to offer these, and they have a basic template that they follow and a minimum standard that they have to meet that Medicare says. They can be better than that, but they have to at least meet that minimum standard. The 2 biggest factors as far as which plan to choose are going to be what medications you need covered and what pharmacies you want to use. So I take that information and kind of sort through all of the different options to look at what plan is going to be the lowest total cost between monthly premium, as well as any cost to actually fill that prescription, like a copay. And assuming it's a company that has had a good experience, good customer service, that's usually a great fit. And then I help people review that every single year. So you're always in the lowest cost option for your situation, because these are easy to review every fall, October 15th to December 7th. We can switch through these plans and I'll help you review each year based on your situation, whether there's new plans available or maybe you're on new medications, your situation has changed, whatever it is, we can do a quick review that's very easy for that process. As far as rough premium, the average premium nationally is about $33 per month. There's a lot of people that pay significantly less than that, that are oftentimes closer to the roughly $15 per month range. So working with me. What am I? I'm an insurance broker. I'm independent. I don't work for any one company. I've chosen to work with a bunch of companies. But at the end of the day, I work for you, not an insurance company. So how I actually make a living is you don't pay me anything. You don't pay anything extra for using me. If you choose a plan, however you sign up with that plan, if it's through me, if it's calling the company, or if it's even going to their company website directly and signing up, the price you pay is the exact same price. But if you work through me, they pay me a compensation for basically connecting you, but also providing service ongoing, where if you have questions, you can still call the insurance company, but you can also call me. So that's something it's important to know is you're not paying anything extra, but you're getting extra benefits from working with me, both from my experience of shopping and sorting through some companies that I have seen a lot from. Maybe I've had good experiences with, maybe I've had bad experiences with, but that way it's transparent for you to be able to know that. Like I said, you can always call, email me with questions instead of having to retell your story every time that you call someone at an insurance company, because the likelihood of you talking to the same person twice is really small there. Also, I help you shop now as you're getting started, but also in the future. So if your needs change, whether it's your medications, you move, or you just want to do a review because life changes, I can do that for you very easily. So the easiest way to do that is usually just to contact me. Again, Mike Lovell, 608-571-4461 is my local number. But you can reach me toll free, 855-712-7316. Or you can always email me, Mike at AskMedicareMike.com, and I will respond to you. So that is basically how we work together, and I'm looking forward to talking to you. I will get you some information here via email following up from this. Thanks for coming out.